Peace everyone, Unmask here, and welcome to the Drawing Journal. Alright everyone, welcome back to the Drawing Journal. Hello Daya Cake. So today, as you could tell from the title, I am standing. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm able to move really freely. And I've been using my new standing desk setup for a week now. I built it last Monday, which is why last week I didn't have a drawing journal because I was in the middle of building this. I was hoping that I would get it built and then be able to do the drawing journal immediately after, but it took a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. Hello Brenda. So I just wanted to continue doodling on this. I don't know how many of you remember this doodle, but I started this actually before my sister came to visit, and I was just making random stuff up on this doodle and getting your guys' input on what I should do, what I should add to it. No plans whatsoever for this doodle. It was just kind of just start drawing and go from there. But yes, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how my week has gone with the new standing desk setup, and I can just tell you right now that I absolutely love standing while working. I'm not sure if you guys have recognized this or not, but I have been significantly more productive in the past week than I've been in the past, I don't know, 3.5 months. Last week alone, I uploaded 3 videos, including one of the videos of me building my new setup here, and then I did the flower tutorial, and I also did the review of that drawing monitor that I'm giving away. And that is the most videos that I've uploaded in a single week in a very, very long time. So I just kind of take you through my week, my first week of being standing while doing this, doing art and working and things like that. First, real quick, oh, hello Kelly and Fangirl and Selena. Glad you guys could come to the live stream. Happy to see you here. Anyways, I'm trying to collect my thoughts a little bit. One thing I do want to mention is that I have a couple links in the description of this video of a few videos that I enjoyed watching that gave me some insight on how bad sitting is for your health. And to put that into perspective, so I've been doing YouTube professionally for about 1.5 years now, and as a professional artist, you know, I do a lot of time just working on a single project or painting or drawing, and I've always done that sitting. And from working the past 1.5 years, I would say that I am sitting at least 10 hours of the day, which really just did a number on my my energy levels. My back was a little sore. Not that I'm not that old yet, but my back was starting to be just like tired all the time. I wouldn't sleep all that well, and so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to try a standing desk. This isn't a permanent thing. If I didn't like it, I could easily remove it and whatnot. But so after kind of playing around with the idea of doing this standing desk, I just went for it. And I would say the first 2 days were probably the hardest because of the things that I've looked up about doing the standing desk stuff. I found that some people, they highly recommended not going from a predominantly sitting position to standing 100% of the time. But if you know anything about my personality, I like to do things or not to do things. So either I do it 100% or I don't do it at all. And so obviously I switched to a very, very dominant sitting routine to standing 100% of the time. And for the first 2 days, I thought that I wasn't going to like this. I thought that I was like, maybe the standing desk thing is not for me, because my feet were hurting like crazy for the first 2 days. It was like, it was almost so painful that by the time the end of the day came, I just wanted to lay in bed just so I wasn't touching the floor with my feet, because it was actually that painful. But I just kind of worked through it. I stayed productive during the time, and I kind of just like moved about. Being able to stand, I just kind of move about and walk, not standing in one spot the whole time. And on the third day, my feet, they didn't hurt as much. The fourth day, they didn't hurt like at all. And then from that, so after the first 2 days, my feet just stopped hurting. And I'm guessing that it was just because I've been not using my feet, I guess, for so long, because I've just been sitting and there's not a lot of pressure that I've been using or putting onto my feet. So it took some time for my feet to relearn what it's like to stand. But that was probably the first drawback that I faced during the first week. But after that initial period of time, it really just got very easy and very enjoyable. One of the things about switching to a standing desk that really stuck out to me almost immediately was how much more energy I had throughout the day. So going into some scientific studies I came across about standing more than sitting is that you digest faster if you eat and then you're standing, and as opposed to eating and sitting. They say that just gravity itself helps you digest your food a little bit faster, and I'm wondering if that doesn't help a little bit when it comes to just balancing out your daily energy, because you eat and you kind of digest it faster, and you break it down and you get that energy a little bit quicker. And since I'm vegan, I'm just eating grains and fruits and vegetables and things like that give me a lot of energy, as opposed to slower processed foods and animal products. So that was one thing that stuck out to me almost immediately, is just how constant my energy was. It's been really, really difficult the past few months to get really anything done, because sitting it just made me feel tired like all the time, and I just sit here and be like, I need to do stuff, but I don't want to stand up and set up my camera or anything like that. And I think that's one of the other benefits that I really, really like, is that moving my camera around, working around my camera when I'm doing filming and things like that, has been so much easier, because I'm not sitting down, standing up, sitting down, standing up to move my camera to different locations. I can just kind of set my camera up, lean over, make sure that I have the shot that I need, hit record, do it, have everything prepared, and I can just, when I'm done recording in that position, I just step over and move my camera, as opposed to like trying to figure out the position I need my camera to see me as I'm sitting at my desk. So that's been a really nice positive that I didn't expect right away. Just the benefit of being able to operate my camera more independently without having to, you know, continuously stand and sit. Alright, so I think I have a few more people in the chat. Oh goodness, I might have missed quite a number of people. Oh, hello, Drawing and Painting. So Anoa Onmoy, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Welcome. I think this is the first time that I've seen you in the live chat. We get to see more of you. Miss your videos. Yes, you'll definitely get to see more of me from this point forward. Oh, hello, Mache. Good to see you again. And Revis Blessed from California. Thank you so much. Good morning, Steve. Glad to see you. And Mikira from Malaysia. Hello. Anyways, I trying to think of the other benefits. So the energy level, productivity, and you know, since I've had more energy, I've definitely been able to be more productive, and that's just been fantastic. I was really happy to finally get the review done of that drawing monitor so that I can finally give it away, and I wanted to bring that up really quick. So that drawing monitor that I'm going to be giving away, the Huon GT190. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till I hit 30,000 subscribers, which shouldn't take very long. My channel has been growing fantastically quick, and I think I'm probably about 1 month away from hitting 30,000 subscribers, depending. You know, I could probably upload a video that, you know, makes that happen in a week. There's always that possibility. But, yeah, so I'm gonna wait till I hit 30,000, and then I'm gonna make an announcement video for the actual giveaway. I know that in the review I said that you just have to be subscribed, and that's true. You're gonna need to be subscribed to win it. But really, it was just saying that you know, you need to be subscribed because you need to not miss the video in which I announced the giveaway. Because if you miss that, you can't win. It's not like I'm gonna go hunt people down. Yeah, I'm looking for people that are actually, you know, interactive. I want to give it to a real subscriber, not the fake ones that just kind of like, oh, somebody's giving something away, let me subscribe and hope I win. That's not how I like to do my giveaways, and I know that many of you already know that from the giveaway that I did last year. Let's see, what else? I hope everybody had a good Easter weekend. We're kind of still enjoying it here in Poland because since Poland is, you know, a Catholic country, they really celebrate Easter. So you get the following day after Easter off. So my lovely wife is hanging out in the kitchen right now, and I have to make some pierogi for her after the live stream. She spent all morning cooking the filling, so let's see. I'm trying to think of what to add. I think I'm going to make this roof here, do some roofing. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that I get a lot of new subscribers on a daily basis, upwards of 100 or so. So if you're new to my channel, as I've recognized a couple new ones. Oh, hello, Stephanie and Malty. Good to see you. Anyways, so if you're new to my channel and you're new to the drawing journal, let me just kind of fill you in a little bit on what the drawing journal is all about. essentially, the Drawing Journal is just my weekly live stream. Try to keep it up weekly, every Monday at 1500 Central European time, and it's kind of more for me than it is for you, although a lot of people really enjoy it, and I love that you guys enjoy it. But essentially, it's just a chance for you to come talk to me, ask me questions about anything you want, and I just kind of ramble on about my day. I'm always working on some kind of new project or just some random doodle like I'm doing now. And, you know, I sometimes get into my personal opinions and thoughts and life story and things like that. So don't be afraid to ask me, you know, semi-personal questions. I enjoy answering those too. That's why it's called the Drawing Journal. You know, I've never really been good at writing a journal. So I kind of created this video series where I just hang out with all of you people, get to know each other, because I know a lot of you in the chat, and those of you that know that I know you know that I know you. You get what I mean. But yeah, so this is just, that's what the Drawing Journal is all about. And if you're new to my channel and you're not subscribed to, if you're not on Facebook family group, I have a link in the description for the Unmask Art family, and that group is just meant to kind of bring all of us together. We've all kind of gotten to know each other a little bit in the chat as well. So be sure to go over to Facebook and check that out. Again, let's see. I'm trying to think of ideas for this doodle here. At the same time, remember what I wanted to talk about. So if you have any questions, yeah, again, feel free to ask me. I love answering questions. Never get tired of answering your guys' questions about anything. So the other thing about doing the standing desk, so one of the things that I've really noticed is that I sleep so much better. I just, as soon as I think it has something to do with standing all day and actually like burning calories, because you burn a significant amount more calories standing than you do sitting. Simply because and I believe this is in one of the videos that I linked below in the description that talks about like the differences between sitting and standing and why it's so unhealthy to sit for long periods of time. And if you are sitting as opposed to standing, your heart rate is just slightly slower, so you're burning less calories. So I think like when you're standing, your heart beats, like, I don't know, I think it was like 3 or 4 times extra per hour, or per minute, I mean. And throughout the day, that burns like 1,000 more calories or something along those lines. So that's quite a lot if you spend your day standing. And when I'm standing here by myself and working on something, I'm usually listening to music, and I'm kind of like, you know, dancing around and stuff because it's fun, and you can't really do that in a chair. So I'm probably burning even more calories that way. So yeah, I think by the end of the day, I'm kind of drained and actually tired from working. And so I fall asleep easier, I sleep better, and I wake up feeling rested. So that's something that I noticed after about 2 days, especially like the first 2 days where I felt like my feet were gonna fall off because they were in so much pain. Once I got through that like foot pain thing, because I did go from one extreme to the other, like overnight, and from articles that I read about switching to a standing desk. They say don't do that. They say don't go from a predominantly sitting day to a completely standing day, because you should kind of ease your way into it. But I don't think I've ever eased my way into anything. I don't dip my toe in the pool to check the water. I just jump in. Anyways, who else came into the chat here? Oh, hello, Rose. Hello, one of the new subs. I've started art again, and I've noticed I have a problem finishing what I start. I get to a part I don't know how to fix or make better, so I start something else. Yeah, I can understand that mindset. You get into something, you're like, man, I don't really know, what colors I need to add or what else I need to do to this piece to make it feel complete for me. And that can be there's a few factors that can come into play to make you feel that way. Just general inexperience can prevent you from completing things, because you're like, I don't really know what direction to go. And the other thing is not having a clear plan to begin with. I had an art teacher, an art mentor, more or less. So when I started getting back into art, which was 7 years ago, because I've always been drawing and painting and stuff kind of throughout my life. I've been drawing for 22 years or something ridiculous. But when I graduated high school, it kind of just went away for a long time, for about 4 or 5 years. And when I started college in 2011, I decided to just take a painting class, because I was like, yeah, I'll just, easy A, right? I was already a decent artist at the time, and it was oil painting. It was actually the first time I oil painted, but I met my art instructor, Sandy, and she just became like a really just influential person on both my art and kind of like life in general. So I would consider her a mentor at the time. And one of the things that she said to me that always stuck with me, and it sticks with me to this point, and I apply it to every piece with the exception of this doodle here, and that is, there's no such thing as bad art, just bad planning. And that's what she said, and from the first day that I heard her say that, it stuck with me. And from that point forward, I always planned everything that I did. And what she taught me about color, and what she taught me about planning, and like ways to plan your work, really helped me develop kind of my own techniques for planning. One of the things that I do over on Patreon, each week I do a tutorial. Right now we're working, actually I have it right here. So over on Patreon we're working on this project. And this is just a toned tan paper, and we're using 3 colors, black, white, and brown. But when I'm not doing a project with a limited color palette like that, I always make a color reference chart for the people following the tutorial on Patreon. And I tell them exactly which colors I intend to use before I ever touch any colors on the paper. So that's something that I do with all of my projects. I figure out, okay, what colors do I need? Where are they showing up? I kind of think about these things before I ever start working on the project. And that's just part of my normal routine anytime I start something, because that's just part of my planning. And when it comes to planning my work, a lot of the times I will just sit there and stare at my reference photo. And if I'm not using a reference photo, in the case of this weird doodle thing that I've kind of been working on for a little while, but neglecting here. I kind of just like to look at pictures that inspire me and maybe just get an idea. I spend a lot of time thinking. That's one of the key things. And if there's ever something that I come across that I've never done before, which if you've probably looked into any of my past videos, I can guarantee you that just about every single thing that I do, I've never done before. And I constantly put myself in that position where I'm doing something that I've never done, because that's how you get experience. And yeah, I'm probably going to make mistakes. I'm probably going to mess something up, or just not fully appreciate the final outcome, because I'll be like, I could have probably done that differently. I'll look at something else and be like, you know what, that might have not have worked as well as I thought it was going to. That experience that you gain from putting yourself in those positions where you don't quite know what to do, but you attempt it no matter what. If you stop, if you're always stopping at a point in which you don't know what to do, you will never be able to get to a point where you know what to do, because you're not gaining the experience that you need to figure out what you need to do. It's like, let me think of something. Let me think of a good analogy here. It's like learning how to spell. If you say the word, I don't know, concept, and you're like, okay, well, I know it starts with a C, so you write a C, and you're like, but I don't know the next letter, so I'm just gonna stop trying to learn how to spell the word concept. So with art, you have to. With art, you're gonna find yourself in those uncomfortable positions where you're like, I don't know what to do. You have to just keep going. Guess, if you must, guess what you have to do. If you're like, I'm coloring a portrait, and you're like, I don't know what color to use, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to look at my reference photo, if you have one, and just kind of like look at the color in one specific area and be like, you know what? I'm going to go for that color. Whatever that color might be, I'm just going to grab whatever I have that I feel is closest to it, and I'm going to go for it. And that's how I've learned all the way up essentially to this point, because I've constantly been putting myself in positions where I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how much of this work you can see behind me. I don't know if you can see this, but here's some clouds. First time I ever did clouds with colored pencils, and I made a tutorial of it. It's like, how do I know how to do clouds if I've never done it, and I make a tutorial of it? And it's simply just learning basic techniques, applying them repeatedly in different directions. And this is something that I go over a lot over on Patreon, where I break down. One of the things I do on Patreon is, I'm live streaming all of my tutorials, so you get all of my thoughts unfiltered as to what I'm thinking when I'm working on a project. And I think a lot of people that follow me over on Patreon appreciate that unfiltered thought process of mine, because they learn so well from it. They not only get my best direction with how I'm doing something specific, but they also get all the thoughts that I'm thinking that lead up to the decisions that I make with the work that I do. Sorry, I really, really like that question, Rose. I appreciate you asking it. I'm not that new to drawing, but I'm kind of new at some things, so I quite often find myself checking your channel for some tips on things I find more difficult. Well, I appreciate that, fangirl. Sorry, I laugh every time I see your name. Yes, I appreciate that. If you guys ever have any specific things that you'd like me to try to cover with a tutorial, I'm going to be trying to get more into posting tutorials more often on just kind of like the basics of everything that you guys ask. I have a list of tutorials that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, so hopefully I can get to those soon and do something with that and help you guys, you know, progress and learn whatever it is you want to learn. Let's see. The one thing I struggle with in colored pencil is underlayers. Example, colored pencil, a dog. What is the most important advice you can give on knowing what colors to underlay on any color of dog? Okay, so this is a great question, Steve. When it comes to fur, let's just imagine you're working on, let's see, here we go. This is better. So here's a dog that I did. This is one that I did quite some time ago. But let's say you're asking yourself, okay, what color should I be laying down to get this dog to look like this? And there's a few things that determine, for me personally, what colors I'm laying down. The first question I ask myself is, what is the lightest color? So obviously, let's ignore the face of this dog for now and look at just the body here. When I look at the body, I find these light colors here and these light colors back here where the highlights are kind of hitting, and I'm like, okay, if those are my lightest colors, then it's safe. It is safe for me to apply that color on all the body. But then I have to ask myself, okay, is it beneficial for me to apply that lightest color over the entire body? And in this case, the answer for me would be no, because the highlights really only show up a little bit here and a little bit right here. My second question is, okay, if I go darker than the highlight, can I still apply the highlight over top of whatever color I choose? And so if I go to the next color, I would say the next color is probably somewhere around, let me see, somewhere around 866, which is a nice mid-range reddish brown. And I believe that's this color right here. So I could safely apply 866 with adding some highlights using, I probably used 842 or 902 or something like that. I'm not quite sure which colors I used since this was drawn so long ago. But yeah, so that's kind of the questions that I ask myself. And when it comes to the layers of fur, always go for the middle. In general, go for the middle, because you can go a little bit lighter to get your highlights and a little bit darker or even black to get some of your fine details. Steve, if you're asking about fur, then maybe over on Patreon I should do another furry animal or something like that to kind of go through the stages, especially the early stages in color choice for the beginning. Um, hold on a second. Yeah, if you have any more questions about the fur thing, feel free to ask. I hope I clarified that a little bit. Okay, I would like to ask, how would you draw hair with graphite pencils, like dark light points in the middle and the end, but in the middle light bit, how do I draw the hair? Okay, I'm gonna try to get through that question, the hair drawing question. To be honest with you, coloring hair with graphite is not a whole lot different than coloring hair with colored pencils. So this is some red hair with colored pencils that I did. One of the main factors with graphite that people overlook, that I think far too many people overlook, is that graphite, just like colored pencils, requires layering. Period. There's no getting around it. You can't just apply one layer of graphite and press harder to get your darkest values. That is the wrong approach to go, because anytime you press too hard, whether it's with colored pencils or graphite, you're damaging your paper. I wonder if I can I don't know if I can turn this in black and white on the live stream. Let me see if I can. If I can turn this to black and white, I might be able to, let's see here. Might be able to do this. Filters. Image mask, color, sharpen, chroma key, color key, color correction, cancel, contrast, brightness, ground. Okay, no, I cannot. Sorry, I was gonna turn this into black and white so you saw the hair in black and white. But anyways, when it comes to hair, think of it in two stages. Think of it as a gradient where you have your values. Ignore all the little things. Ignore all these little flyaways, all these little pieces of hairs coming across. Ignore all of it. What you first want to do is build the frame of your hair. Make sure that you have it framed correctly, this being the body of the hair in general. Make sure you have the flow of the hair mapped out so that you can fill in your areas. Now look at this shape at the top here. So you have this shape at the top where the hair appears to be darker. Right here it's kind of like I don't know how to describe that shape. But like a palm tree, I guess, kind of like this. And this is the darker area. You can see that it is darker in general. And then you also have these shapes down here. You also have these shapes down here, like you have this upside down V shape right here. You have this kind of triangle shape here and here, and all these darker spots. Build those dark shapes. Just build in those, once you have the body of the hair sketched out, build in those dark shapes, fill them in with layers, not by pressing harder. And any of these dark lines that run through here, fill those in as well. And then, once you have those filled in, start filling in the rest of the space with the correct value. Now, at this point, your hair should just be kind of look blurry. It should look blurry. There should be no sharp edges with the exception of the outer frame of the hair. But inside, you should not be, in the beginning, you shouldn't see any strands of hair, any detail. It should be soft. It should be blurry looking. Get your values laid out correctly first. After you have that kind of blurry mess, and if you like step back from it and you can see that the values are correct and you've formed the lighting on the hair. In this case, you can clearly see that the light is coming from the left. And only once you have those values laid out do you start adding in the details. Because you can't create lighting with details, okay? That's not when you want to go in there and start adding the flyaways. Once you have the lighting and the composition laid out, then you go in there, add your little flyaway details out on the sides, that kind of thing. And then one of the benefits with graphite that you don't necessarily have with colored pencils is erasing. You know, use a kneaded eraser or one of those Tombow mono erasers that you can kind of sketch out the brighter highlights. Pull those bright highlights out. Use your eraser to essentially do the opposite of drawing, to get in those highlighted details. So that's my best advice for doing hair with graphite. I think perhaps I should just do a tutorial on how to color hair with graphite. I should do graphite tutorials in the first place. Yeah, I did my first graphite tutorial over on Patreon, but that's the only time I've done graphite tutorial. I've been subscribed for a long time. I see most of your videos, but coming to live is hard for me because it's 6 a.m. So you must be on the west coast of the United States or in that Pacific Standard Time Zone. I apologize for that. It's very difficult for me to schedule my live streams that the whole world can watch. I mean, I have people from every time zone essentially coming to my live stream, so I try to schedule them the best that I can that accommodates the widest range of people. So I apologize that you don't get to come to them very often. I think maybe it's probably time to do a live stream a little bit later in the day to accommodate kind of a different block of people, and I think I might do that soon. Perhaps next week I will shift the time frame of the live stream so that it gives people from a different section of the world a little bit easier accommodation for the live stream. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't miss any other questions. If you guys tag me in the question, it makes it a little bit easier for me to see. Okay, Rose, that sounds good. Yes, definitely start planning your work. When it comes to doodling or doing line art, what type of pen do you prefer? That tip point or what tip point? Okay, so for this, I'm using the Pigma Micron. This is the 0.3 millimeter, just regular fine tip. I like these for doodling. But I also really like the Mangaka flexible pens. These ones are one of my favorites. They have kind of like a semi-brush tip. I like this for doing larger drawings where I have to fill in a lot of dark areas and doing outlines, like really thick outlines. So these are my two favorite pens. Mangaka also makes, regular. This is a number 5, kind of a broader tip, but yeah, those are my pens of choice. Let's see. I can't really think of anything to add to this doodle here. I think I'm just gonna call this doodle done, and then answer a few more questions. Let's see. Have I used pan pastels? Yes, I have. I have a tutorial. In fact, I have a tutorial live tutorial that I did last year using some of my pan pastels. If you look up on my channel, I did the tropical beach scene in pastels, and I used the pan pastels for that. I do like a sky and some water and beach scene. Hi, how do you decide when to use a colorless blender as opposed to odorless mineral spirits? I'm doing my first drawing of the Mediterranean cliffside scene with multicolored houses, and I don't know which would be better. So to be honest with you, I really only ever use the colorless blender when I'm working on skin tones, because I don't blend my skin tones with solvent, because I feel like it makes the skin blotchy and uneven looking, and I really don't like the look of it. As an example, this is the one time, this little tutorial I did over on Patreon is the one time that I blended skin with solvent, and I do not like it whatsoever. I think it just looks terrible and blotchy. I prefer, I did this in one sitting over on Patreon, and the only reason I used solvent to blend out the skin is because the live stream was going on for so long, and I really just, I figured why not just give it a shot. But this is the only time I've ever used solvent to blend skin, and I really don't like it. When you're doing landscape kind of stuff, I would recommend just using solvent straight out. I can't really think of anything in a Mediterranean cliffside scene where I would be using a colorless blender, because the solvent is going to kind of speed that whole landscape process along quite a bit better. The next question is, can I make a video about how to draw human pose? Actually, I already have a tutorial on how to take a pose from any photograph. It doesn't matter whether it's a guy or a girl, but just take the pose of a photograph and transfer it over into any character design that you want. I have made this tutorial a couple years ago, and despite the name, it's how to draw anime part 1, and I cover all the techniques that I use for taking a pose and creating a character from it, whether that's modifying the pose or changing the proportions, because I show you how to take whether it's a pose that an adult is making, like say it's an adult standing there like this and you want to draw a child. I show you how to map those proportions, and I give you a chart to help you translate those proportions to whatever sized person you want, all the way down to chibi. So yeah, that tutorial is already on my channel. Any tips for oil pastels, because I have never used them? Yeah, use soft pastels instead. That's my tip for oil pastels. Get soft pastels. Sorry, I don't mean to be sarcastic there, but I am slightly being serious. Okay, so I think that's going to be it for today. I hope that you guys enjoyed the stream. For the most part, I barely doodled, but I didn't know what else to do. To be honest with you, I didn't know what else to draw for today. And I had this sitting in my drawer, and I was like, yeah, I want to finish it. I just want to get it done. Or get it done enough to call it done. I suppose I could have added quite a bit more to it, but you guys were asking such good questions that I've kind of got too distracted from doodling and to answer your questions as thoroughly as I wanted to. So hopefully my answers to your questions give you some good insight and help you. And also the overall conversation about a standing desk. Hopefully I'm not moving around in the camera too much and you guys can deal with that. But the standing desk has just been really great for me. So if you have been sitting for far too long in your art studio, you know, maybe consider going to a standing desk. There's a lot of desks out there that go from standing to sitting, and you can raise them up and lower them and stuff. And I think this change to my studio space is going to benefit not only my health but also benefit my productivity a lot, because I have so much more energy standing as opposed to sitting. And yeah, it's been a great transition. Like I said, the first 2 days was a little tough, but once I got used to it, it's been really great. So hopefully I've inspired you in one way or another. And let's see, I might try. So I'm going to try to add another live stream. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week, but I might do it next week. I want to do a live tutorial for soft pastels, so be on the lookout for that. I already have the reference photo that I want to work from, and I might make it in a couple parts. So I'll do like the sky and then I'll do the foreground. But other than that, I don't really have much planned. I have some more commissions that I have to get through this week. So once I get done with that, it is going to be all tutorials all the time. Like, I just want to make so many tutorials. It's just, you guys are going to get tired of learning. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all so much for coming to the live stream. You guys are awesome. I love having you guys here. I love hanging out with you guys and answering your questions. That's it. You guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Take care. Peace.